You know, I do hate these kind of stories, Kim, where it's like, oh, the stocks go up because people lose their job. I mean, that just sucks for the people losing their job. Pardon my French. But listen, we're investors. That's what we do. We look at the companies, and they're probably going to have to cut costs.
Sure. Well, Silicon Valley is never shy about hiring people and spending money, regardless of if they have the cash flow to support it. And it's interesting that these larger, older companies have really started to lead, I guess, the world of technology into restraint, or so it seems, and that's why they're up. Investors like to see companies that know they're owned by shareholders and concentrate on things like what products they're going to come out with to make their customers happy and drive cash flow, and do that in an economical way. And I think, especially in the last couple of years when growth was so big at all of these companies, they just didn't give a thought to maybe adding that extra person to a team.
And if we look at these companies, we tend to lump them in. I know they're in all the same baskets, Dom, like, you know, they're on all the ET. We say technology, but, you know, these are different companies, man. I mean, Google's an advertising company. Meta is, I don't know what Meta is.
A metaverse company now?
It's a goggle company. I'm not really sure what it is.
Apple's a hardware company?
Yeah, so they're totally different, right? So we look at these. Amazon is basically a retailer with a giant cloud business attached to it. How do we look at these companies differently?
In terms of the overall business that we're talking about here, Kim kind of nailed it. It's about whether or not there was an over-hiring, I guess is the best way to put it, during certain parts over the last couple of years. And there was a reason why, by the way, because there was so much more focus and tilt towards things like technology, IT hardware for sure, services around kind of remote work, hybrid work, and that sort of thing. That kind of gave you a tailwind. The problem was that tailwind faded quicker than I think a lot of other companies anticipated it would. And for that reason, they're reacting a little bit more profoundly in this way. Now, the reason why it's a little bit more significant this time around is because if you look at the way things are shaping up right now, it was this cascade effect. You showed the board about all these people laying people off, but it's almost become a norm right now. And you almost have to, because you've been given license by your peer companies to cut costs, and investors are going to kind of treat it the same way. So that's going to be a real rub, is whether or not these companies will all follow suit, not just these mega cap tech ones, but other tech ones as well.
Kim?
Sure. I think there's a good chance that other companies will cut their staffs. Whenever investors are looking at companies, especially if they're private, they are comparing them to public companies. And if public companies are getting skinny, the private ones are going to have to get skinny too.
Yeah, the question is how much more skinny will they be, and how much more would the market reward them getting skinnier? Again, we hate to see anybody losing their job, but at the same time, they seem to be telling us a pretty big story about where they see either the economy going, or, to Dom's point, they messed up. Everybody's like, we're going to work remotely forever, and now we realize, no, we're not.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's the bigger part of the story, is what are they going to do with the teams that they have? And I'm thinking that they are not only right-sizing, remember that term from the 90s, but they are also skill narrowing, that they are going into the areas and keeping the people, and maybe even, I know this is crazy, maybe even hiring additional people on those projects that they think they need to, present in the next 5 years. So it wouldn't surprise me that the mix at these companies is going to look very different in the next 5 years, and the teams are either going to be completely gone in products that they no longer want to offer and support, and the ones, that's what they do. That's what we pay companies to do, is move us into the future in the most, responsible way, I suppose.
Okay, so as a kind of add-on to that conversation, if you take a look at the way things stack up in our economy, very tilted towards services, which is kind of what tech, media, and telecom does. They're either in the business of services or supporting services. That's the issue now, is when you start to see headcount coming out of those places, it maybe signals something about the broader economy. Now, what I would say is it's been pointed out to me a number of times by either sources of ours or people in social media that are saying the place that we are not seeing people getting cut right now are in industrial, in manufacturing, travel and leisure and hospitality, other places in the economy that are just not tech specific. So
you can't find anybody.
Well, so that's what I'm saying.
If
so
you can find me an HVAC installer, I'm paying him or her
plumber,
whatever they want.
Or
a plumber,
an electrician,
do me a favor,
carpenter, or a guy who does drywall. I know exactly.
You probably can do it yourself. I can't. I need a plumber. I've had a busted sink for 6 months. I can't get anybody to come over.
I just had copper line replaced by a professional in our house for our refrigerator, and it cost a lot of money. So this is what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, but you wear pocket squares.
There are parts of the economy that are stronger than others. Technology is maybe isolated right now where the job losses
Kim, one pick, 10 seconds, Forrest. Opportunity Friday.
Sure, this is going to be a big eye roll, I know, but how about Intel? And I'm looking far into the future. I think they can become a fab. I think they're going to have many sites around the world, and I think they have the money and the talent to pull it off.
And a giant backing for the federal government with the CHIPS Act and some other thing. There you go, Kim, Forrest. Appreciate it, Dom. Thank you.